I wonder who wrote the book of love?
Tell me, who wrote the book of love? I've got to know the answer. Was it someone from above?
I wonder who wrote the book of love?
I love you, darling, baby, you know I do. But I've got to see this book of love, find out why it's true.
I wonder who wrote the book of love? Chapter 1 says the lover, you love her with all your heart. Chapter 2 you tell her, you never ever gonna part. In chapter 3 remember the meaning of romance. In chapter 4 you break up, but you give her just one more chance. Oh, I wonder who wrote the book of love?
Baby, I love you, yes I do. Well, it says so in this book of love, ours is the one that's true.
I wonder who wrote the book of love? Chapter 1 says the lover, you love her with all your heart. Chapter 2 you tell her, you never ever gonna part. In chapter 3 remember the meaning of romance. In chapter 4 you break up, but you give her just one more chance. Oh, I wonder who wrote the book of love?
Baby, I love you, yes I do. Well, it says so in this book of love, ours is the one that's true.
Wonder who wrote the book of love? I wonder who wrote the book of love?
Good afternoon and welcome to another Wednesday edition of the Ellen Carrington Show. Today's topic should be great interest to both writers and readers, since I'll be discussing a few things related to what else? Books and writing. And I'm going to start today with a couple of book projects I currently have in the works. I recently mentioned finishing my first nonfiction book called Life Subject to Change. That book is still in the editing stage, but according to some updates I received, the earliest release date could be on or around my birthday, which, by the way, is February 8th. Let me see, I'll look at my calendar here. It looks like about 3 weeks from this coming Saturday. And they're telling me that the latest release date could be sometime in early March. And I'll pass on some additional updates in the coming weeks as I get them. Meanwhile, I've been busy so far this week putting together the second nonfiction book with lots of research, note-taking, outlining, and just general organizing. You people who are writers, you know what I'm talking about, especially if you write nonfiction. This is my first and second crack at it, and I think after this second book, I'm just going to go back to fiction. But anyway, pending any changes, I plan to start the actual manuscript for the second nonfiction book this coming weekend. My publisher has targeted a spring 2014 release for this second book, so looks like I'm working on a tight schedule for a while. Doesn't matter anyway, because I enjoy a challenge. How about you? So moving on, I briefly discussed Palm Tree Books on last week's show. That's the new independent publisher out of Florida. The publisher has opened the website and accepting both unagented and agented manuscripts, so authors can send in directly or your literary agent can send in. And I will be posting some links to their submission guidelines, the Facebook page and Twitter later after the show. Palm Tree specializes in general fiction, genre fiction, young adult, contemporary fiction, nonfiction works such as biographies, both authorized and unauthorized. Apparently they'll accept either one. Public figure tribute books, you've probably seen some of those on Amazon. true crime books, which are some of my favorites, real-life drama, health and wellness, self-help books, sports, education, humor. And by the way, they accept those, but they're not limited to those in their nonfiction section. So if you have some nonfiction work that doesn't fall under any of them, send it in. They'll look at it, and if it suits their criteria, they'll get in touch with you. So if you created a manuscript, feel free. They'd love to see everything. Yeah, I guess they're pretty pleased with my stuff so far because they offered me a 5-book contract. And I got like 2 down and 3 to go. But anyway, if you prefer going the independent route and publishing your own books, and many authors are doing that since the digital age made it possible to reach a wide audience, and self-publishing doesn't really hold the stigma that it used to. Actually, a lot of self-published books get the attention of some actual publishers eventually. So it's happened, so keep on. But what I'd like to tell you about, while we're talking about self-publishing route, WriteToSellYourBook.com offers 8 tips on marketing and your self-published book, some which can pretty much work for all independent authors, or if you're lucky enough to get into one of the big 6, can probably work for you too, even though if you're with the big 6, you're probably having your work done for you. And on that note, I'm going to read a few of those tips. I'll bring up the site right now. And some of these are pretty fascinating. One is think like an entrepreneur. As a writer today, self-published or not, has to think like an entrepreneur. And that's true. If you have no business background, hire someone who can coach you to think like a salesperson and a marketer. That's very important. If you don't think like an entrepreneur, obviously your work's not going to get out there. As some like to say, if you're going to sell it, you have to advertise it. Am I correct? Here's number 2. Know that good content is paramount. Definitely. A good business person understands the need for good product, so start there by making your book the best it can be. Absolutely. Number 3, invest in your book. You know that creating a great product is important, so invest in that product. And that doesn't just apply to books, it can apply to just about anything. But going on, hire a good editor, don't scrimp on the cover. This is important as ever, maybe more so as we are becoming more visual culture. Think about that one for a moment. Number 4, and this certainly works for me, and it probably works for a lot of independent authors as well. Have a web presence. This includes a blog that you update on a regular basis. This is a great way to build a readership in advance of your book. Everyone wants to connect today, readers especially, with authors they follow. And I've seen a lot of blogs on here by authors that aren't actually updated all the time, whereas with others, they're updated on a daily basis. So keep in mind, if you have a blog, at least try to pop in once a week. So sometimes I'm not as diligent on the blog on my site either, but the bookshelf I usually try to have something, at least once a week, if not more often. And with my schedule right now, it's not more often. I wish it was. But anyway, moving on to number 5, and his is a good one as well. Network offline. Nothing will ever beat the power of a personal connection. Go to conferences and networking events with the intention of learning and making new connections that will help you in expanding your online reach. My recent trip to Blog World opened me to the world of podcasting and how I can use that to expand my audience. And I hope that show does that as well. Number 6, here we go. This is great. Follow other blogs. Specifically, follow the blogs of leaders in self-publishing and the changing business world. I recommend Seth Godin, Jane Friedman, Joe Conrath, and Copyblogger. And there's other good ones on there too. Learn to like Amazon, number 7. And some of us aren't really big Amazon fans, especially the way they tend to treat independent authors. But hey, stick in there, because they might not make you a millionaire, but you can get some good royalties off of Amazon. But Amazon allows you to have an author page, which is huge. I also have an author page on Amazon, have for a while. And the nice thing about an Amazon page is you can list all your books on there. I mean, people don't have to do searches or jump around or anything like that. But here's number 8, and this is pretty good, and I think it's very important. Be open to experimenting with marketing techniques. Right now, I am trying out the Kindle Select program on Amazon and running 3 free days of the Kindle edition of my new book. This is what the blogger says. The intention is to get as many downloads as possible that will improve my Amazon ranking and ultimately get more attention for the book. Remember, no matter what your path to publication will ultimately be, the number one thing that will automatically help your book is to stand out is a top-notch quality book. Happy writing! So what do you think about that? A lot of sense. There's a lot of sense in that book blog. And like I said, it doesn't just apply to self-published people. It's from our independent authors as well. So keep those in mind, and I'll pop up the feature link to that at the end of today's program, so be on the lookout. And while we're on the subject of marketing and getting our writing seen by the reading public, I'm sure there are many listeners who are either freelance writers like myself or consider entering the field. If you're the latter, the Freelancers Union offered some advice on how to write resumes that grab the attention of potential employers. And I'm going to pop up that page. I'll post a link for it later as well and read a couple pointers off of there. Here we are. And there are quite a few on here, but I'll pull a couple out to see how you can. Here we go. First of all, they say the right resume style, and this is important. There are many resume options, but no matter how creative you are, most clients will prefer quote-unquote traditional formats with creative content rather than creative/non-traditional/innovative format. Keep it simple. Option 1, organize by chronologically. Your freelance experience appears as one item in your chronologic. You should include a short list of your best recent work experience below that. Option 2, organize by skill/function and then chronologically. This means you'll first give a list of 4 to 10, give a list of 4 to 10 skills and projects/titles by that skill, and they give an example on here. You can read that later. Let's see, another one on here is your pitch. This is important. Think about, the pitch that you send in your QEs for a book. Well, this is a different pitch we would send to an employer for a freelance job. And I'll read a little bit of that. As a freelancer, you're not just an individual. You're a business. And business don't provide skills, they provide services. Tell a prospective client what service you will provide them, not just how awesome you are, but also tell them how awesome you are. Hey, every little bit helps, right? The thing to remember is that sometimes clients hire freelancers because they don't know how to do what you do. Often they're not even clear about exactly what you do or have a vague idea of what they need. So all your experience sounds impressive, but they need to know how you will help them. You should, of course, include this in your cover letter/email, but also include it at the top of your resume, where people normally put objective, which, by the way, is fast becoming outmoded. Please don't include the following words because they don't mean anything anymore. Experienced, professional, detail-oriented, sales-oriented, driven, creative. Your portfolio and references should show all these things. Let them speak. And once again, as I mentioned earlier about marketing your books, this is the same when you apply for a freelance job, your online presence. For many jobs, especially creative/maker jobs, this can be the most important part of your resume. Include your website, your field-specific profile. If you're a designer, an account is a must for a resume, a Dribble account. If you're a developer, you probably need to include you include something along those lines. And if you have a LinkedIn account, include that. Only include social media if you will enhance your prospective client's opinion of you, not because you hear that you should. So I think there's a few good pointers right there, and I'll pop up the link to that. You can read the entire site if you're interested in a freelance job. Figure out how to build a killer resume to submit to employers. Moving on to another site, Manic Readers is another one where you can get your books seen and possibly reviewed. There are both free and premium accounts offered on this site, with a long list where members may submit their books to be reviewed. So they have several websites on there of book reviewers. You've probably heard of quite a few of them, and if you want to pop on the site later to view that list, you're welcome. Now, there's no guarantee that your book will get a review, but the good news is requests sent through this site are free of charge. I don't know about anyone else on here who is listening today, but I don't feel comfortable paying for getting a book review. There's just something I find a little off about that. I don't know why, but personally I don't do it. If you want to do it, that's your prerogative. People do. I don't. But I found reviews I have received, all which were free of charge in exchange for promotional copies of my books, tend to be a bit more detailed and honest. Your experience may vary, but nevertheless check out Manic Readers and see if their site can help you with promoting your books. And again, I'll pop up that link a little bit later on. If you're among the winners of the 2013 Turning the Pages Book of the Year Awards, I'd like to offer a couple updates on the event that will take place April 26th in Orlando, Florida, at the Florida Hotel and Conference Center. And that address is 1500 Sand Lake Road in Orlando. Some tables are available for authors not receiving awards, and there is a page where you can purchase those tables. And book signing is open to the public. However, you do need to purchase a ticket to attend the awards ceremony, and unless you're an author or assisting an author, you will also need to purchase a ticket for the luncheon. Again, everything's on one page at the Turning the Pages Book of the Year Awards site. I'll pop that up. If you're interested in going, you can read more on there. And for those who find online mingling more convenient, now is a good time to sign up for the 2014 Muse Online Writers Conference. This year's conference is going to take place October 20th through the 26th, so there's plenty of time to get in there. Registration for the conference is free of charge, and they're also accepting proposals for workshops in any area that could benefit writers. Previous publication, not required. Interested parties may visit the Muse Online Writers Conference, that's one word, .com/muse_front/index.php/pitch-information for more details on how you can pitch your books. And hey, it's another way to get noticed. How about that? So, in the meanwhile, there are a couple more upcoming events I'd like right here in the United States I'd like to announce. Writers Anonymous, in conjunction with the Pell City Board of Education and the Pell City Center, is proud to sponsor the Midwinter Writers Conference on Saturday, February 22nd, 2014, at the Pell City Center in Pell City, Alabama. The agenda is robust, and presenters have a proven track record in their areas of expertise. Whether your genre is poetry, fiction, nonfiction, or blogging, there's something for everyone at this conference. Authors in attendance will be allowed space for a book table at no charge on a first-come, first-served basis, of course, unless everything's full. So if you're an author and you're in Alabama or visiting Alabama, this is the time to really get on it for a table. If you're interested in attending, you can view additional details at the conference's homepage at Writers Anonymous, that's one word, .us/pages/conference.html. And the Pure Textuality Convention will take place October 2nd through 5th at the Hyatt Regency in Minneapolis. There will be Q&A panels with some of the industry's best authors, awards voted on by the fans, workshops for writers, a book signing / expo day, and a lot more to come. Tickets are now on sale, and you can also register for the convention at Pure Textuality Con. That's puretextualitycon.com. And for more details on that. Right now we're coming down to the wire in today's show, and we're going to see what other happenings are going on in the event world. That's coming up in the coming months. And we have another author event as well. Let's see. The hosted Turn the Page blog is hosting an event on in Huntington. It's called the Rebels and Readers Author Event. This is November the 8th, 2014. General admission tickets are $7 online in advance, $10 at the door the day of the event. You have a meet and greet as well. There are still 31 tickets remaining for that as of today's show. That will take place. That sale will end November 8th, unless they run out. The price of those are $50. The meet and greet, only 50 people will be allowed, and 12 are already sold prior to. Well, 12 are already sold apparently. That could change. So the link for that is www.evenbright.com/e/rebels-readers-author-event-tickets-8879313-265 AFF equals EORG. So take a look at that if you're going to be in Huntington, West Virginia, or you reside in that area. Come and meet some great authors and have a little fun. Maybe get yourself noticed if you're a writer. A lot of good things going on in 2014, and I can't wait for all of them. Unfortunately, we are winding down to the last few minutes of today's show, and once again, I'd like to thank all of you for listening. Unless any changes pop up, the Ellen Carrington Show will return next week, which is January 22nd at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Take care. Enjoy your weekend as always. Stay warm if you're in the colder part of the United States or other parts of the world. And I will see all of you next week. Have a pleasant one.